All right, welcome everybody. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. This is the Stock Market Weekly Review for the 25th of January. We're going to talk about some stocks. I'm going to give you some ideas to work with Monday. But I got to tell you before we start, it's hard to believe that the first month of the year is almost over. It seems like just yesterday, right? We're sitting there celebrating the first of the year. You're making all those goals. You're doing all these things. I'm going to change this about my life. I'm going to do this. And here we are. The first month is almost over. If you're sitting there as a trader right now and you had all of these plans at the beginning of the year and you're still at the end of this month where you were at the beginning of the month, man, you got to make some change. You got to make some change if you expect to get to the next level. How reluctant you may be, you've got to go. You got to do whatever it takes to get to that next level. I mean, it doesn't matter how much it costs, how much effort you have to put into it. If your job or your goal in life is to become a professional trader, and you want to be like the people that you see out, the people that you look up to. You want to be able to make money from any remote location. You want to have the things in life you want. You want to have the luxury and the freedom to work on the days that you want and take off the days that you'd like to, not have a boss, all of that good stuff. You're going to have to put in the time, man. You're going to have to go the extra mile, so whatever it takes. If you're sitting there and you're one of those traders, visit the LincolnList.com, take the 14-day free trial, see if what we offer, see if our live trading format, the way we educate traders, see if that's something that can help you get to the level. If it's not, it won't cost you a thing, but you're always welcome to check it out. For us, I think it's been one of the best starts to the year I've personally had in 6 or 7 years, well up over 30+% in the trading accounts just through the first month. So it doesn't matter if this market goes down every day or it goes up every day or it doesn't do anything at all. There's always opportunity. You just got to know where to find it. You just got to have a process, and you got to believe in that process. So enough of my yodeling here. Let's talk about those stocks. But first, let's look at the market. If we pick up where we left off last week when I was talking about this SPY right here, I thought we really, before we got a rally, I really think we needed to test the August flash crash lows down into the 181s. And we got there. I believe we got there, I think it was Wednesday or something. Excuse me, Wednesday. And you can see there was a pretty strong bounce. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that say technical analysis is garbage, right? I know you got that. And you know what? I'm not knocking anyone else's strategy. Whatever works for somebody is fine. But you can't tell me technical analysis doesn't matter when this thing goes right into a double bottom support and then bounces. And here's why I'm trying to go with this whole thing. There are sophisticated people, and there's all this money being thrown at this market. Everybody's trying to predict a bounce. But the thing is just free falling, and it's making some of these bounces on the way down. But there's no real support. You had maybe one little area right here that you had contend with, this 186 that was the pivot from 928. But once it lost that, it has a very, very high probability of going down there before you see a bounce. And it wasn't finally till you got to a really longer term, meaningful support area did you see a bounce, right? So technical analysis has its place. It works. You listen to the chart. It's a great way to, if you know how to read it, it's a great way to judge price movements and inflection points in stocks. Helps you zero in on some great entries rather than just guessing. I think it's down a couple of 100 points. Looks like a great place to buy. Maybe it's not. Maybe the next support's a couple of 100 more points away, and you're going to have to ride that down. So anyway, enough said about that. We did get a good bounce there, a pretty strong bounce, about 10 points actually. So we spent, Wednesday rallying, Thursday strong, closed out Friday strong. And I think what you're going to have, I can't make any predictions saying, are we going to go back up to 200? Man, I don't know. I don't think we can say we're in a bear market until we lose this 182. I don't think we can say that right now. Maybe that'll change, but I think what you're going to have to see here is the market's going to have to digest this move. I don't think everything is like it was a year ago where you're like, okay, all's better now. Flash crash, everything's all good. I think you're going to have to back test this, a couple of numbers back in here, maybe this 186, maybe even retesting 182 just to kind of firm up the chart. Now, that may not even happen. I don't know. But it's something I would think after 3 strong days, you might get a push early on Monday. If it's a good open in the European markets on Monday or something like Sunday. The futures look good on Sunday or something like that. You might get a nice little follow through. It was pretty strong today. But I wouldn't buy into that too much right now. I would want to see some pullbacks in there, maybe kind of digest this move a little bit, and then see where it wants to go after that. You've made a sharp rally, pretty much in a predictable spot, and now after 10 points, you know, let me say the easier money was made. The easier dip buying money was made. The rally money was made. So that's that. Now let's talk about how this impacts stocks. We all know that oil was beaten down, just ripped up to shreds, and that was also due. That was really weighing on the market as well. We know that's going to bounce. You know it's going to bounce at some point, but you saw a lot of these oil names just going nuts over 3 days. Now, some of them really went crazy. One of the stocks I want to look at, though, is this GLNG, GLNG. This thing is just like up tremendously over a few days. And I understand that we're due for a rally, but I want to kind of bring something up here. Is that, you know, when something rallies, you got most names in this sector are moving 5 to 7%. You could expect a certain rally. Moving from 10 to 17 and grinding a little after hours, I would think you might see, I'm going to tell you what you're probably going to see here, is something that we talked about on Thursday night with our members that happened on Friday. Is it's going to probably turn out a lot like this. Where's the stock I'm looking for? CRZO. Okay. You see how they're kind of the same. They're coming off the bottom pretty violently. But let's take a look at CRZO first, and let me talk a little bit about how that plays into the hands of GLNG. As I said, you can expect a rally. You look at other names in the sector here, some of these other oil and gas names here. They were up a good 7%. And when oil's rallying that much, okay, that makes sense. But then when you're looking at a stock like this that has made a move from 16 to 25 ultimately here, you're talking about a stock that's moved about 40 to 45%. I think, Matt, I might be a couple digits off there. But you just know what I'm saying. A good 35 to 40%, let's say, in about 2.5 days. There's always this element of time versus price. If people want to talk about trends, a trend has a good balance of time and price. When you get too much price over too short a period of time, that's unsustainable. Now, it might end up going back to that level, but it's going to have to test. It's going to have to be, that move's going to have to be digested. My point is this. You started out, it was already 35% up on Thursday. And then Friday, people just start chasing this stock to the moon here. I mean, they're just running up here. And guys, I don't know what you're doing, what people are doing. I know I say it all the time, and that's what makes the market go around. But you know, there's buy orders up here at the 25s. There's people buying at 25. This stock was like $16 2 days before. Now, if you were, I'm not saying this is a terrible stock, it's doomed, it's never going to go back up to 25. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the smart trader was buying this in the 17s and 18s, and they're selling it at 25. The amateurs that aren't reading charts, they're chasing this thing up at 25, and right now, you know, they're down a little bit. Now, again, that doesn't mean it won't go back up to 25. The point is the charts help you get better entry prices. And this is just nuts. And I think you might see a move on GLNG like that. And I think if GLNG does that, you start sniffing around 20 first thing in the morning, man, you've got to short that thing with authority. I mean, you'd be talking about a stock that has moved, I don't know, 70%. The move on GLNG in a percent basis, I think, would be even more. Let's take a look. Yeah, you'd be talking about 10 to 20, so you'd be talking about 50%. Now, I can see 20. I can see with the way it's, you know, working here Friday after hours. It just looks like it looks like a gapper. So keep your eye on this. If this thing touches that 50 moving average, gets up there, I just got a feeling it's going up into the 20s. That's a short, man. That is a short. You know, it just is. That's a pretty big move. News doesn't matter. You know, it's, as I've always said, it's different if it's a low float microcap like a VLTC, you know, pump and dump or something like that. Not on something like this. So it was already 50% today. If it jacks up, you know, 10% at the open on Monday, get your short stick out And you know, will it not will it not eventually retrace? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. But you'll probably get a really deep and strong pullback in this name, like you did CRZO. Makes for a nice little trade. So anyway, also this spike was SPKE. This is another one. It's another energy names, you know. And again, these names were due for a rally, but the good ones will rally, and there'll be nice charts for investments. These ones that got nuts, 25, 60% moves, these are the ones that are going to be the better shorts because it's too much for a lot of these stocks to be running, especially with still so much uncertainty. So this one made a really, really nice move. It's 20% now. You know, strong close on this one, of course. I'd like to take a look at this one too. I think this scenario, if it plays out where you get a gap, then you've got a short setup here. You got a short setup that I think has to be taken. Now, in the event that you don't, it just gaps down, I would write both of these off. That kind of ruins the trade. You can see from the CRZO what we're talking about here, how the pattern works. The para after the gap up, you know, solid run, gap up, para, fade. That's all euphoria, man. All people are doing here is chasing the euphoria because they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to miss the move. I ain't blaming anybody. I've done that before myself. We've all done that, right? I'm guilty. So, you know, you get that thing, oh, I missed the move. I'm going to miss the move. If I don't get it at 25, it's going to be at 30 by the end of the day. No, it's not. It's just too much. It has to be digested. So, I like the CRZO. You know that. I like this spike. And I also like this AIMT. I like it a little less now than I did, you know, earlier Friday. There was a nice little short in the trade room on this one. Big old para here, but still, even with this pullback, it's up 14%. You know, that's a big move. You can see once these things start to stretch here a little bit, it makes it kind of tough. So, you know what? I'm just going to go with a couple of those. You got a lot of other names out there that are up. I mean, you know, the biotechs were kind of the thing. They're on Thursday. Now it's all oil. Again, they could squeeze a little bit more. I'm not saying that. They're really, really destroyed. You know, these things, you know, oil is not going to go to zero. So these things are beat up. They're due for a bounce. But it has to be somewhat of a, you know, I guess, let's say a respectable bounce. Some of these I think that maybe got a little ahead of themselves. You know, people really anticipating so much of this bounce that once they saw a couple of green candles, they couldn't help themselves and they had to buy some stock. I get it. So we'll see how it all plays out. You know, by the time this is all said and done, I might be wrong on all of it. Hell, I don't know. We're just going to have to find out. But one of the good things is as a trader, you have the flexibility every day to be wrong. You can get away with being wrong because you can change your biases quick. You can start out thinking, hey, I got this idea. I think these stocks are going to tank. And, you know, you can try a few and no big deal. You might lose a couple bucks, maybe make some small dollars and say, you know what, they don't. They're not ready. They're just not ready. And then you wait. You know, you wait, or maybe you try it along some of them. You can have that kind of flexibility. You're not just tied to one kind of strategy or one side of this trade. It's an amazing feeling to be able to be that liquid and maneuverable and make some money. So anyway, you know what? I've talked enough. You've heard what I had to say. You've seen some of these stocks. As I said, up over 35% already this year in this market. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year. Make sure you visit thelincolnlist.com. Take a 14-day free trial. If not, thanks for listening to me talk this long. I probably annoyed you if you're still around by this time. But thanks for watching this video as always. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any help whatsoever. You don't have to be a member. Service@thelincolnlist.com is my email. Take care of yourself until next time. Talk to you soon.